So trim tool, flat head under here. Hey, how you going there, guys? This is the video on our 200 series, the overview of the speaker upgrade pack we have. So if you have from 2007 to about 2015, if you have like the older shape 200 series and you have a GX, a GXL or a VX, we have a speaker upgrade for you, and this is the kit here I'm going to show you now. If you have a Sahara, this isn't going to work because it has like a factory, actually the biggest speaker system to have an amp, etc. That actually works pretty good. So like these ones, if we start from the back, the rear doors have 6.5 inch coaxial speakers in there. So we've got direct factory replacements for those. So you just pull off the door skin, you put the new ones in, pretty easy to do. The front speakers a little bit harder. You've got component speakers. So in the door that's itself, there's a 6.5 inch woofer, and then the tweeter actually sits in the top, and we've created a factory fitment in here, so it's all like plug and play. You can replace those front speakers as well. So for like a step one easy replacement, you could just replace the front and back speakers and even still keep the original head unit, or you could be using one of our head units, or actually any aftermarket head unit. It's going to give you better sound quality straight away because it's got a built-in DSP, which just processes the actual sound. Then if you're gonna jump up another actual step, you'd probably add in our plug-and-play amp, which we'll cover later on. So that's just going to give a more grunt and a better standalone DSP and a bit of a tune into all those new upgraded speakers. And then the third thing you could actually do would be like an underseat subwoofer, and I'll show you where that sits and how that looks. So if you do want to get better sound in your 200 series, definitely worth the upgrade, and pretty easy to do, and we'll cover what it looks like. So we're just going to do the front speaker replacements in this car here. So there's like a woofer in the door of these 200 series, and there's a tweeter up here in the dash. So the door, and it's like most doors, got clips all around it. Plus behind here, you got a pop off so this is a screw. It looks like this also pops off, so we'll do that. Then there's no other screws around it, but you do have this little light down the bottom here. So if you can actually flick out of that before you take it out, it'll help. So trim tool, flat head under here. This here is going to pop off. It's a window control, small plug in there, that comes out. A push down plug, so push down the lever and pull it out. No screws in there, that's good. Behind here, these cars always have something like that. Trim tool in there, that pops out. You've got a Phillips screwdriver in the back, screw there in the back. We're going to just flick out that. Like Phillips out, that. This whole bit here actually comes off, so you can put your trim tool in here again, or your hand, and pull this off. It's a bit fragile as you get down to here, and this is where the trim tools come in handy, because if you actually lever on anything, you're always going to put a bit of extra force on it, and you don't really want to break any trim bits if you can help it. And one little bit left that's a bit tough, and that comes out like so. So you can see all the clips that had coming around it. That pops out of there. That is important because one big Phillips, two big Phillips in there and there, so both of those do need to come out. Two Phillips screws in both of these, so spin these out. Looks like it's the same size as the other one we took out, so you probably can't get them confused, but probably good to keep them separate. That and that. Now there's this little light down here that actually seems to be in an okay at the moment. That's fine, I'll leave that. So that's everything. Now if you get your trim tools or even just your hands at the bottom of the door and slowly work around it, there's just a whole lot of clips. So still just go around every bit and then go round all the way around, because ideally you want to get as close as possible to it if you can as you go to pop them off. There's a little piece here that you can pull off with your hand, and then once that's off, you kind of want to come up, and then that is everything. And then we're going to replace the speaker in the front here. So what I quite often like to do, if you can, is actually just tape this up somewhere, or tie it off. That way you don't have to do all the stuff on the back here. There's a bit of stuff hooked up. You don't actually have to worry about taking all that stuff off. I take that back, I ended up taking off everything. You basically got two ball joints here that just have to spin, and you'll see they come out of here, top and the bottom one, and you've got a plug down the very bottom here in your interior light here that just has to pull out. So that's all out. Put this somewhere safe and soft, so you don't want to scrape it all up, and then we'll go and take out the speaker. This actually has an aftermarket one in it already, but we've got a different one now. We're just going to spin that off. Even if it was the other factory speaker, I'll try and put something in this video so you can actually see what the factory one look like, but it's the exact same process anyway. A 10mm socket, you've got 4 coarse screws around the outside. So I'm going to pop them all off, and one speaker plug, which is just to push down and pull out, which can get a bit tough sometimes. So sometimes you actually have to use a little flathead to get in here. Oh, that's the speaker coming out. But to push this plug out, sometimes these plugs can be a bit hard to get out. If that is the case, get yourself a small flathead and just pop. You'll be able to see the bit that's stopping you getting it out, and just pull that out like so. And that is the plug out. Interesting enough, there's some actually the water leaking down here. Don't know if it's got cars in park for so long, but this is actually an aftermarket one. If I do get the other video in there, I'll show you how bad sort of quality the original one is, but it's the same like shape. It's just this tiny little paper speaker that is pretty hopeless. Hence why we're going to actually upgrade it. Yeah, so how you going? So in your pack here, you're going to get, for the front speaker pack, you're going to get your gasket, the speaker gasket, and then the other speaker. So what you want to do is put the other speaker screws in, and actually before you do that, if you can actually stick in the adapter cable first. Ideally we would sort of actually like to do this for you guys, but then it just gets too bulky and like shipping, and then it makes everything a bit more expensive. So if you put the speaker plug adapter in, just screws onto the terminal, but push it onto the terminal, the big one and the small one, and then you end up with this at the end. But I forgot to do something, put it through the holes first and then put it on. So if you feed these through here and then do exactly what I did before, we will then be good. Plug those in, so the big one to the big one, small one to the small, like so, and that can come around the outside here, and our plug is come out there like so. And then we've got our sort of 4 Phillips screws that are in here. So once you put the speaker in, you'll see they line up with the holes. If you just screw those in, you'll see they almost look a little bit off, but they will all line up. So if you go around once and then go back again and just put them all into they tight, that's the speaker in the gasket, like so. Then what you have is we have a ring that goes around the outside, a gasket ring here, not that one, the other one, sorry, a gasket ring here like this. So all you want to do here is peel this off and stick that on. That just becomes the foam, just like the one had, and that'll just stick around the outside. If you just start at one area and then work around, that'll work out pretty well. Doesn't matter if it doesn't sit perfect, just try and keep it off the inner ring there, because obviously that's the part of the speaker that actually moves. Not that it would actually affect it, but best practice. So that's it. That's our basic speaker built, and we'll go and stick that in now. So once that's in there, you're just going to line it up and go in like so. We will make the cables in this trial pack, we're a bit short on our adapter, so you can see our plugs kind of sitting in like a funny spot there. So we'll make those cables a bit longer when we do our new kits. This was our first one, so improve that. So we'll make this cable a bit longer, so the plug can come up to here, and you can just tape it onto there or whatnot if you need. So again, to screw it in, it all screws in like so. That's like that. That's all done. So that is that. That's pretty much installed. We'll go back, and actually before you do that, it'd be always good just to test your audio and make sure sound's coming through, and then you know it's all good. And then if you do get an extra piece of actual foam in the kit, we haven't decided if we're going to include them yet or not. We might do an extra bit of sound deadening that can either put in the back against the door, or you can stick on the back of the magnet. But we're not sure if that'll be in the kit yet or not. We'll test it, we'll see how it works, and then we'll go from there. So now the door can all go on back on in reverse, so we'll go through that. When your door goes back on, that plug down the bottom for the light, don't forget about that. And then you got your 2 ball joints in the top here. One goes down the bottom, one's up top. And what pages to check what's what actually. That opens the door. So the green one goes down the bottom, which that's the one that actually opens the door, and the other one goes up the top, which is the door lock, and they slide back into their little grooves exactly like you did when you took it off before. Then just make sure when you're putting the door on that you didn't actually leave any of the clips in the door. I can see I haven't here, the little white clips on the back here. Then it will come up, and you come up and you drop the door down. That's one of the bits that's a little bit challenging, because it does need to sit down over the bit below the steel bit below the window. So when I talk about that, I mean like sort of pushing it down from here, and then once that's all lined up, that should go in nicely. Yeah, looking pretty good. And the door will just push back in all the way around like so. Make sure you can still get to your plug here for your other window switch, and just put it back the same way you took it off. So won't do that yet. do that in a second. And our two the Phillips screws behind the handle here, and this one up here, and the one behind the actual door pull open handle. Little hits just to make sure the other clip's going okay. You've got your little top mount that goes up in there. You've got this trim clip here. So if you line it up down the bottom as you go along, it'll all clip in nicely. Window, clip into here. Door handle bit that came in the back here. Oh, just thinking, is that up the right way? Door clip into there, and that is all done. Just check you can still open the door, and the door lock is up working. So that is the woofer installed. Now the woofer's in the top here, so if you get something in the side here to pop open your grill like so, come around it, and this grill should just pop up quite nicely like so. That's the grill come off. Then this one's been out before and not screwed back down properly, but you got two 10 mils in here, they will both come out. And this was the old tweeter, so this is going to come out now. And there's a little plug on here, and that pulls out. There's a plug, here it is here, that needs to come unplug. Again, it's got a push down, then pull out one. Again, these are quite tough, so a little flat head to push down that little clip and pull it out is a very good shout, and that'll pull out that. It's got 4 wires coming into it because it actually has it actually got this little bit here is acting as a bit of a budget sort of crossover, which only sort of lets certain frequencies to the woofer or back to the speaker. And so this is actually where all the magic is kind of happening. So what we need to do here is we need to undo these 2 screws, 2 other Phillips, take out these, because our speaker comes in and replaces those. 1, 2, this comes out, and we're actually going to keep actually this part, and our speaker is going to come into there. Then there could be a little bit of just like putting together here. So actually, hopefully in the kits we'll have them already put together. We'll see how we go. Just in case we don't know, we basically have our tweeter holder here. Our wires need to feed through a hole in the bottom, and then the tweeter will just sit in here beautifully. It clicks into there like so. So that's the tweeter in there. We've got an actual crossover here, so we have our sort of cable here, and this is going to plug into the factory one on the car. So you can see what we have here is we have sort of actual white going to the like sort of positive, sort of negative on the input. So those are our 2 wires that are on this side as I look at the back of the plug, and then so top to positive input, so bottom to like negative input, and on this side we have top to sort of positive woofer, and our bottom pink to a negative sort of woofer. Hopefully we have this pre-wired for you. We will see how we go. And then we just have 2 sources here, so positive, red to click in. Just showing these just in case we don't have these sorted, and you do need to know the colors of things. I'm hoping we will have them sorted and you won't have to worry about that. Red is positive and black is negative here, so these will feed in like so. So then once you're all in there like so, the crossover's got enough room to sit actually below the speaker. So this plug is going to hit the factory plug into there like so. Crossover can sit, whoa, just save the camera. It's a bit hard to film up here. All right, so that plugs into there. This has enough space to actually sit down and below here. So there's just a bit of a double-sided tape on there to stick it on, and to run that cable where you want to run it out of the way, like so. And you want to screw this back in here. Put the wire through the bottom first if you can. That way you'll remember to put it in, but these same screws will fit the custom little bracket that we've made up, so that'll screw back in. You put the tweeter into there. Crossover will stick down below there. There's enough room. Tuck your cables away nicely. Then if you line that up, it originally fits in, which can only go in the way it can fit. I'm saying that I can't even fit it in. There we go. So that's in and down. And you got these 2 that go on each side, and that is the tweeter installed. So like I said, we'll hopefully try and pre-build it a little bit more for you. But just in case it's not, if something happens, I went through the whole lot in this video. And you tie these back up, and boom, that's the tweeters done. So that's upgraded components installed in the front of the 200 series here. Fairly straightforward install. To do both sides, it's probably going to end up taking an hour or an hour to 2 hours. Just cruising along, and that's it all in, looking pretty good. And don't forget to put your trim piece back on, and good job, you've just upgraded your speakers. Front speaker's done. Well done.